Hello, everyone, and welcome to this pre-meeting, getting ready for the launch of The Conversation. Ooh. And we have Kamaya here, who's ready to kick us off with a beautiful song that she composed today.
In the car.
Awesome.
Take it away, Kamaya. Ta-da!
You can always beat the challenge whenever life gets hard. You can always beat the challenge whenever it gets too big. You can always beat the challenge, yeah. But all you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe.
Hooray. Thank you, Kamaya.
Beautiful.
Kamaya is the delightful and sometimes extra feisty little, how old are you again?
9-year-old.
10?
9.
Almost
No.
10.
Almost 10. And Kamaya is granddaughter for Silas Rao, who's there with us with the Climate Healers. And so welcome everybody to the program. Bob and Noel, it's so sweet that you're one of the early adopters to be on this with us, as you've played such an important part in my journey. And so it makes sense that the few people who thought it was time to jump onto this kind of thing would include you. So thank you so much. And Jackie, I know you've been involved with Jamin and several of his different projects, and great to have you there. And James just joined us. I'm not sure who James is. Is he part of
James,
part of the silliness?
James is super cool. He is a soul brother of all of ours, in Cork, Ireland, in southeastern Ireland. Yeah,
There we go. We went international.
yeah, we have gotten international big time. James has been with us since pretty much the very beginning. James, how you doing there, buddy? And how's your hand recovering there?
Hey, Jim. Yeah, not too bad, man. Just sorry about Tuesday night. I was just wasn't able. I was kind of pretty zonked on painkillers and stuff like that, and just wasn't able.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just happy that you're here and that you're well. And we've got some new faces here. You've got Bob and Noel, who are super awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, Bob and Noel are part of a program called the Co-Creators Convergence. And why don't you guys introduce yourself and repeat or kind of share what you did with the World Unity Week program. That was such a great expression.
Well, first I'll just tell you about the Co-Creators Convergence. We're really a small group, but we were started, we call ourselves a Barbara Marx Hubbard. She's a visionary, futurist, and we call ourselves a legacy group. And our group is where people get together and they share their gift to the shift in humanity to bring forth a world that works for everyone. And those are basically Barbara Marx Hubbard training words. And so that's what our group is. So it's not like we're all carpenters. It's not like we're all singers. We have so many different aspects because everyone's gift is unique and we honor that. And so this past for World Unity Week, we declared Co-Creators Convergence Day as part of World Unity Week. And we had probably a 17 or 18-hour broadcast. We started at 8 o'clock in the morning with a beautiful light meditation from one of our members in the UK. And then we went all day with, I think we had about 20 different guests. And I'll say our featured guests were Barbara Marx Hubbard, not Barbara Marx Hubbard. She was with us all day.
She was there all day.
Even though she had transitioned in April 2 years ago. She was our neighbor at Sunrise Ranch. She was living on Sunrise Ranch at that time, and we were her neighbor. But we studied with her for quite a while. But we had Marianne Williamson, who was the political. She ran for president, but she teaches A Course in Miracles and amazing thinker. Her last book, The Politics of Love. If you haven't read it,
highly recommend.
Highly recommend that. And then right after her, we had Jean Houston. Dr. Houston, as a philosopher, educator, started the humanist movement. And so there are two icons, and we had also, some other amazing speakers. We were well attended all day. And we opened up the morning with a dedication to Barbara Marx Hubbard. We showed her speech she gave at the Democratic National Convention when she was running for Vice President of the United States against Geraldine Ferraro in 1984. The speech there, if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's like World Unity Week 1984, but for 2084. And then we closed the night with showing her documentary, American Visionary, The Life of Barbara Marx Hubbard, that came out in 2018.
The autobiography.
The autobiography. So, so that was sprinkled within the day were a lot of our co-creators, a lot of our people that brought very, very different gifts and solutionaries as well. One husband and wife with the redelephantink.com, they're all about teaching people how to make a movement. Mm-hmm. And they gave a dynamite presentation. We had another person, Clayton, I'm blanking on his last name. He started about 40 NGOs around the world. And so he specializes in that, and he offered anyone who has listened a free consultation on MC3. So then we had mystics, healers, just the whole gang, all different.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Bob.
No, only that one of the attractions when we read your email, your quick mention last night, Jamin and Peter, about the conversation and then the email today, was that all of our Zoom recordings were recorded individually. We ran Facebook like in 3 segments through the day, so we didn't bump up to the 8 hours. But we
Facebook Live.
We have the Zoom recordings for all. We're working on cleaning up the front end and the back end so it looks like it's a single package. And we intend to post all those on our co-creators website archives, give them to World Unity Week as soon as we all figure out with them how that's going to be archived. But instantly we're thinking, one of the ways the co-creators Convergence gathers is that we have a third Thursday call of every month. And we have many of these same people would have been on our calls. We have 6 years worth of monthly recordings. And so, that's the stuff that we say.
We probably have Barbara 3 times.
Yeah, I'm sure we had her every year before she jumped over the other thing.
Realm.
And so we just were like, boy, this would be wonderful. We don't have much traffic on our website, and it would be wonderful. Hi, Sharon, to have them in a place where they could be appreciated and valuable to others.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
much.
Yeah, Sharon Rose was one in the co-creators room, in addition to your dance rooms and other rooms.
Yeah,
well, it was such a pleasure, and I must say how much I love Peter.
Aww.
Besides loving you, I love Peter. Just so uplifting, such a joy when, so different from what's going on in the Matrix world out there. And I'm really grateful to you, Noelle and Bob. Also, just seeing Jean Houston and her segue into my, my interview was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Jean was just.
She was laying back in her easy
she
chair,
was just
telling stories.
Mystic matriarch, wisdom. It was as casual and as beautiful as it could be.
I mean, what a level of, what a storyteller, what a level of articulation. It was just powerful.
She has such a wonderful sense of humor as well.
Yeah. Well, we won't be, that's us somewhat.
Thank you. No, it's again so great to have you. And this is exactly what this conversation is for. People who have content, people who want to be out there daily or weekly, people who have groups, big or small, but have that yearning to create a place for people to be heard and to be assisted if needed and to share their wisdom. And I mean, Jamin's been working on this plan for years of how do we create this hub of all of this, and it really didn't land for me even though I've known Jamin for 3 years, it didn't land until we got done with World Unity Week, and we could just tell how really easy it is for the technologies to just add 1 + 1 = 7,618, right? That we just open source, come in, share what you've got, put your Zoom link in there, and if anyone wants to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, then you've got a buddy in a Zoom room. And we were comparing it earlier to, like, you go to a conference at a hotel, right? And after the conference is done, then you go to the lobby bar and there's all the people from the conference, and then you mix and match and you say, hey, you want to go to the hot tub, or you want to take a walk, or let's go over here and talk about coral reefs, or whatever is your passion. There's all those people, and that's what we're co-creating here. And it's wide open for everyone to co-create. We're all just meeting in the lobby bar and seeing what happens organically. And so, Jamin, I know there's a couple other people here. You could maybe introduce.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Yeah,
else we
happy
have
to.
here.
First of all, welcome, Sharon. So happy to have you here. And Emery also joined us. Welcome, Emery, who is from Montreal, Canada. And Emery's been with us from the very beginning, the very first block party, and he's there pretty much 24 hours when we do our 24-hour collective intelligence block parties. So anyway, he is
Nice.
super awesome.
Well, I skipped. I wanted to introduce Sharon a little bit more, because Sharon I met just this last week with World Unity Week, because she's in the dance world and the international dance world, and quite a few years of being in the international dance world. And she stepped into the dance stage on World Unity Week, and it was just like, you go, girl. And, at first it's just like I sat back and said, you go. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I want to be on the dance floor too. Because I just thought the world, and still do, think the world of you too. And just the beautiful way people can just step up and be themselves in this ball game. So glad that you chose to come be part of this emergent call, Sharon.
Oh yeah, I'm really pleased to be with you all. And I'm already talking to other people that want to become part of not only the dance world, but if some of you don't know me, I'm a filmmaker as well, and a healer, and written a book on the divine feminine, lots of things. And, all of a sudden I'm getting calls, would you interview me? Would you interview me? So, and I've been for 4 years working on this series on Qigong, Quantum Qi, which has really had a profound effect on my life. And we'll see, now that we're in the COVID world, I don't know, I'm thinking now, it was supposed to be 6 episodes. I'm thinking now just make it 3, because 2 are done. And it's really beautiful. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, check out quantumchimovie.com, or just go to facebook.com Quantum Chi and look at some of the trailers. We're really been working to show, well, through all my work, it's working with the emotions and working with the energy body, because I feel that that's really important, especially now. Here we are all in our, well, here in Colorado, we're actually very fortunate in that we're not locked down like many places. But I feel that this whole experience is for us to go inward, and all these shadows are like being released all over the place. And that's why I'm so grateful to be a part of this, because, when you look at the mainstream, it's like, oh, you just want to like, and then when you look at Peter and all of you, it's like, wow, there is potential in this world. We can come together and really do something. So I just want to express my gratitude to all of you.
Oh, thank you so much. You said it so perfectly that, that what one thing that's just really shifted for me is this idea of hope, or this feeling good, if you will, is no longer a future thing. I think that hope really had a future context to it that for me is gone. I'm not hoping for a future. I'm living this moment, right? And this present moment that we've always talked about, or I think I got a sign on the wall in one of my rooms that says, be here now, right? It's like, but now we actually get to be that here now. And hope is just like, whatever, hope, stick around, hold on tight, hope, we're going now, right? And that's what birthed this whole thing. Was we felt the power with World Unity Week, and also with oneearthlive.com. If you haven't seen that, that was the stepping stone that really kind of gave birth to the some of the strategies for World Unity Week. And it's like, oh wait, we can just do this now. We don't have to wait for some event in September or November or next year. It's like, it's co-creators convergence now, right? And come on in whenever you want. I don't want to watch TV episodes anymore, right? I want to sit on calls like this for 3 hours a night or more, right? And instead of thumbing through 1,000 channels to find something I might want to like. So maybe Jackie could tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. This is awesome. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for including me. My name is Jackie Solomon. I'm a co-founder of Seeds to Inspire Foundation. It's a 501c3. It's a social justice education nonprofit here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we serve the underprivileged, underrepresented, underfunded areas. So mainly our Black and Brown communities. And I'm a certified climate healer. I'm a World Peace Diet facilitator. I'm a certified conscious parenting coach. So my aim is to co-create a healed world, a regenerative world where our children deserve to live. And that journey led me to veganism for health reasons, and I reversed my own diseases, and I've lost over 154 pounds just by transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet. And it was that journey of healing that kind of led me to want to explore and learn more so I can go back and serve my community. And that's what led me to the first Sedona Veg Fest, where I met Dr. Sailesh Rao, my friend and mentor, and joined Vegan World 2026 movement. And the rest is history. That's what led me to my friend, brother and sister, Jamin and Melissa with radish.org. And now I work on a micro level to bring healing and this awareness and serve the underserved here in the Phoenix area. But on a macro level, I work with Vegan World 2026 and radish.org to bring kind of awareness and raise consciousness on the planet through 2 segments that I co-host on the 24-hour block party, The Divine Feminine in the morning, and then Vegans of Color in a Culture of Normalized Violence in the evening.
Wow.
So would you send me your address so I can send you my book?
Absolutely. I heard that and I was already taking notes. I was so excited. Yes.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
use the chat box there for everybody's
okay.
different.
I have to go
everybody's-
off for a second. I'll be back.
Okay, get out of here. Go to your room. And then I see Kamaya came back to say hi. Her pretty purple.
Yeah, Jack, if you please put your contact, your website and other things in the chat, that'd be awesome.
We'll put our email.
Okay, Silas, she set you up pretty well. Would you like to introduce yourself and Kamaya?
Sure. So,
Why not?
I'm Silas Rao. I started Climate Healers 13 years ago. And
Wait,
then
I have an idea. Silas, Kamaya, could you introduce your grandpa? How about you introduce who is your grandpa? Tell the world who he is. What does he do?
So she came into my life 10 years ago and literally turned it from, I was pretty depressed about climate change at that point, and she turned it around. And here we are. So because of her, we are doing the Vegan World 2026 project, and Jackie joined us, and so many people have joined us, and we are all working out all the systems and the new game and the new story that we need to tell and the new game that we have to play in order to make a vegan world happen as quickly as possible. So that's what we are up to. And of course, when Peter said, can you come and help with the climate, environment, and food convergence room, I said, sure. I jumped in and we did 2 days of programming for that during World Unity Week. And,
Spreading kindness.
spreading kindness, of course.
You forgot that.
Yeah, she put it on the back of my phone now. It says kindness matters.
Aw.
The kindness does matter. That's true.
So that's us, and we are excited to be part of this. Thank you very much. And I think starting a conversation and then going out and doing work, and then coming back and having another conversation around it. think this.
The conversation over the conversation.
Yeah, from conversation we need to get to action, and then conversation back and action again, and
the conversation of the real conversation that's actually supposed to be based on the conversation.
There you go. Yeah, with tautology. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Kamaya, are you going to introduce yourself?
Do you want to introduce yourself? He wants to know.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Would you introduce yourself to the rest of the people here? Most of them don't know you.
Why not? Back on the spot where I came from.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kamaya Rao. I'm Sailash's daughter, as you can see.
Granddaughter.
Well, no. Why? Granddaughter.
How did you get involved in the Vegan World 2026?
Tell them
Tell them the story. You want to tell them the story or no? You want me to tell them the story?
Yeah, because I want to laugh. I'm the one who wants to laugh, not you. Or I don't know.
Well, she found out that animals are her family. And then
Tell that story. No, tell that story.
Yeah.
Well, you need to be always specific, Grandpa, or else I won't know what you're saying.
Okay, I'll be more specific. Okay. So my job is to put her to bed at night. Okay. So especially when she comes and stays with us. And she stays with us maybe 4 days, 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah, maybe 5 most of the time. Yeah.
So her parents work odd hours, and so we get her for 3 to 4 days. And so one night, I had just gone through the World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet report, and I was getting depressed as to how fast we are killing wild animals. And then that evening, I was reading her a story in bed. And at the end of the story, she asked me, "So, Grandpa, who were the first human beings?" And I promised her that I'll never ever lie to her. Okay, so I said, "Okay, I'm going to explain to you how it works. Imagine that you're standing on the street, and you're holding your mother by your hand. Then you ask your mother to bring her mother and stand by her side, and so on. So you create a long line of mothers on this side of the street. And on the other side of the street, you ask a chimpanzee to do the same thing with her mother and her grandmother, and so on. So by the time these two lines go from Phoenix to Tucson, they would merge. Both lines are going to say, that's my mother too. Immediately, she just sat up in bed and she said, "What? Are you telling me that animals are my family?" I said, "Yeah, now that you put it that way, they are your family."
What do you think? I was actually saying that.
Yeah. And then she said, "Then why are people eating my family?" "Grandpa, make them stop. They're eating my family." She started bawling.
Wait, hold on. This is the funny part.
They're bawling. And then I said, Kimaya, my job was to put her to bed, and here she was screaming away. And I thought I was not doing a good job. So I was trying to convince her to stop crying. And I said, "Kimaya, please, this is what I do. In fact, I do this every day. It's my job to make people stop." And she stopped crying, and she looked at me and she said, "This is your job? This is your job? You haven't done your job. When will you do your job?" And I said, "Well, I have to do it by 2026. Otherwise, we are all in big trouble."
Unless we did it earlier.
Yeah, of course, if we could do it earlier, even better. But, So she said, "Promise?" And I said, "Okay, I'll promise you." And she said, "Will you give me a pinky promise?" I didn't know what it meant. I said, "Okay, I'll give you a pinky promise." And then she said, "You can never, ever break a pinky promise."
Unless you want to break your finger, which I bet you don't.
Okay. So, and then she went to sleep. And that night, I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning, thinking about what I had promised her. And who am I to make a promise like that? And things like that.
Well, you're an engineer. You're supposed to fix things. What do you think?
So then the next morning, I woke up realizing, as an engineer, it is my job, to...
What do you expect? You're an engineer. You're supposed to
These are all engineering problems. How do you get the right food to people? How do you get the right shelter to people and water to people? Those are all engineering problems, And so
every problem should either be an answer problem or an engineer problem.
That's true. So
Oh, should I tell them about the tree thing or not?
yeah, and even the, I mean, even climate change, solving climate change is an engineering problem. It's not a scientific problem. Science can tell us what the science is, but engineers have to figure out how to do it.
Well, I think engineers are basically scientists, but except they actually do things instead of calculating stuff.
Yeah, we have to actually implement stuff, right?
All they're doing is sitting at their desk just calculating, and we're actually the ones doing work. What do you?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
They're sitting at their desk, just lounging away, doing like calculating.
Peter, there are other people.
Thank you. I think that there might be some scientists who disagree with you, but we'll save that for another call.
All
But
right.
thank you. Good to get to meet you, have you introduce yourself, Kamaya, and thank you for inspiring your grandfather to put his passion behind what is such an important thing, which is how we treat our brothers and sisters, the animals, and our brothers and sisters, the planet and the waters and the ice and the air and the trees and all of it. So that's why we're here. We're here for you, Kamaya. We're here because all of us realize, oh my goodness, what we've done is not working, hasn't been working for a long time, and we need to turn the ship around really quickly, because we've gone down the road quite a ways,
or the wrong path. Never know.
Yeah, the wrong path. So we have a couple other folks who haven't really got to say hello yet. James, or I'm not sure, how do I say, Emery?
Emery.
Also later, I have a little thing.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everybody. My name's Emery Callsbury. I'm an artist. My main focus over the number of years has been stained glass. I operated a stained glass studio for many years. I'm retired now. I'm involved with music. Multimedia integrated, trying to integrate, media. Right now I'm involved with the Block Party, Jamin, and we're looking at the ways to solve our major problems on the planet. I'm pretty much aware of what's going on, but still searching for ways in which I could be a part of, coming up with helpful ideas to facilitate the development of solutions that could be implemented for our major concerns. So right now I'm happy to witness the development of this project here, and I'll be looking for ways to participate and apply the wisdom I've structured over the many years. Nice to meet you all, and look forward to interacting with many of you in the near future.
Awesome, Emery. Thank you, brother. So great to have you here. Back to you, Peter. Go for it.
Is Kamaya still around? I want to show her a picture.
All right, and then James can introduce himself after that. Let's see what picture we have there.
That's
Beautiful.
me and my son. Many years, this was in the 80s. I was Radha and he was Krishna.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, James, would you like to share a little bit?
Hi, well, my name is James, as you know, James. I'm from Cork City in Ireland, and I'm an artist as well. And I suppose I got, drawn to this as well through much the same through Emery and my concern for the climate situation and everything else. And I came across Jim, and I suppose last well over a year now, I suppose, through the Radish crowd, and I've been watching their talks and their progression and everything else. And I just jumped on board with it early this year, and I see Jamin's vision right from the set, right from the get-go, and it's the only way to go as far as I'm concerned, because the alternative is just not worth bearing. So I'm here for whatever reason, whatever I can contribute, and I don't even know what that is, to be quite honest, other than having be part of the conversation. And if I can in some way help or contribute. So that's about the size of it, basically. I put my 2 pence in when I feel I have something to say, and a lot of the time I'm quiet as well. But you'll get to know me over time, and I suppose, because I am here for the duration. As I said, I believe in the vision, and it's worthy to be, as a worthy vision, something to be, that all of us and more of us should get on board with. Like, so thank you all. And nice to meet you all.
Nice to have you on. Thank you. And that's the beauty of this kind of program. It just, you don't have to do anything. You just want to sit here and listen and feel, chime in when the time's right. There's no pressure. We're just all being here for each other, for ourselves, and for Kamaya, for the future, but really for now also. And because, there's the early adopter people who are catching on to what's happening, and then there's going to be this wave of everybody who comes into the story in the next couple of dominoes, right? And then everyone's going to feel the rug pulled out from underneath them, and if they haven't already, and start trying to find some kind of footing in this new world that we find ourselves in. And that's what Jamin has been so pushing for so many years now. And so Jamin, I think I'll hand it to you to do just a real basic little intro about yourself, and then just a real basic framing of what we're imagining. I know Bob and Noel have to go at the top of the hour, so I want to hear more questions from them after you do a quick little couple-minute framing. And so take it away, Jamin. And Melissa, because, well, Melissa hasn't introduced herself yet either, so please, both of you, take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Melissa Koch. I'm Jamin's life partner. And I want to say, Peter, you have the most beautiful voice. And similar to Jackie, and I think all of us actually, what I'm witnessing is this blossoming of self and all of us being empowered, you're stepping onto the path of the heart, the red road, as the Hopi call it. And there's this transformation that's taking place, and it's so beautiful to witness it happening in our garden of humanity. I'm a visual artist, and I call myself an artful activist. My work focuses on protecting Mother Earth and all species. I'm always the one in the crowd telling everyone, don't just think about humans, please think about all the other creatures, the plants and animals around us as well, because they are our family. So I could go on, I won't. I'm an arts educator. I've always been an advocate for people of color. I worked with a Haida master canoe carver for 14 years. We built canoes with children in Seattle. It's a program called Carving Cultural Connections. That was kind of the beginning of starting to teach white populations about not cutting down trees and taking care of Mother Earth. For me, when I moved back from Europe, and now I'm working with refugee children in the Seattle area. I'm running online art classes. I'm co-hosting with Jackie, my sister there, and witnessing her becoming a powerful goddess. Awesome, go girl. And really just, supporting all our brothers and sisters of color so that they can take the platform, and I'm here as a assistant, basically, saying go, 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 and really there for their empowerment as well as all of ours. So lovely to see all of you and see all of your beautiful gifts. Thank you for sharing in the world. Love you all. And Jamin, over to you.
Thank you, sweetheart. And in respect of time, I'll just try to be concise. And born and raised mostly in the San Francisco Bay Area, the East Bay, Berkeley, Albany area, and was really blessed to have wonderful family and friends and neighbors. And out of all of that, including all the activism and movements and everything that were started and nurtured in the Bay Area, I just grew up very, very progressive. Moved to Spain at the age of 14 to live there for a year with distant Spanish relatives. Learned Spanish and was just shocked to see how the gypsies in Spain were treated. This whole segment of the population that were basically considered subhuman. And I was just utterly shocked. I just couldn't believe it. And so that really set the course of my life. I resolved that we first and foremost must end hunger and malnutrition and just make sure everyone has plenty to eat. And as you can see in the other screen here with the community cafe picture, that's one of the projects through Radish that we've launched, which is, community cafes, feed everyone, just make nutritious food a basic human right, just food for free. And then that's combined with Silas's vision for food healers, and we're off to the races. So from those beginnings, I did a lot of volunteer work in Latin America throughout high school and into college. And over the years, I studied as an engineer, first as a civil engineer, and then other disciplines, including artificial intelligence. Worked at Microsoft for a number of years, and but kept coming back to, all right, Jamin, let's get back onto the mission, right? It was kind of this tension between making money basically and, doing fun stuff and, back to the mission. So when after I left Microsoft, I put my attention on, how do we end hunger, and started working on a computer model for modeling agriculture and nutrition and all kinds of stuff, water, soil. And but one thing I couldn't escape was, how are we going to pay for this? Meanwhile, in 2012, along came the legalization of cannabis in the state of Washington. So I built the first premium brand of cannabis based on my great-grandfather's legacy. He was Diego Pellicer. He was the largest grower of hemp in the world in the Victorian era. And I teamed up with former Mexican President Vicente Fox, and I dedicated 100% of my share of the profits to ending hunger, and also started to work on kind of like a new model for inspiring a compassionate economy, where the financial side of business would be that all of its profits would go to, not to the people who need it the least, which is where the profits are going now, but to the people who need it the most, the starving. It's just like, duh. So this model that turns economics on its head. So that was the basis for CCC, Certified Compassionate Companies. But working with President Fox and other leaders in Latin America, and we actually found a really cool way to force the hand of the Obama administration to accept legalization. Anyway, there's a whole story behind that. But in the process, I became, deeply aware and involved of the human rights issues associated with drugs. I was just focused on how do we make a bunch of money to feed everyone, but then got into all the human rights stuff and was just like, whoa. And I started to see just everything is connected. You can legalize cannabis and end hunger at the same time. You can do all these cool things. And so I was like, wait a second, we need to develop this collective super intelligence that is just latent. It's just waiting to come out, right? And now with COVID and that everyone's on Zoom, so the network of conversations exists now. It's just not connected, right? And part of the challenge to connecting it all is that we have certain standards so that people know that they're going to be safe and respected and listened to, and et cetera, et cetera. And so we're working on applying the certified compassionate standard to conversations. Why not? Right? Why not? If we're going to set a bar, we can be specific about it. I'm an engineer just like Silas. Let's specify it. Let's design it. Let's make it precise. So that's a big part of it. With World Unity Week, as I said yesterday, it's the first.
Real quick, Jamin, but I think before you jump there, that now you jumped into understanding just how significant the climate change story was unfolding, and I know just in meeting you 3 years ago, just how passionate already you were to we've got to get the best thoughts together. We've got to do this collective intelligence thing purposely. So go from there and get into a little bit of the urgency factor.
Totally. So I learned about Guy McPherson, saw his work, reached out to him, said, come on up. I need you here at the Sierra Club. I'm program chair of the East Bay Sierra Club dinners in the Bay Area. And though I live up here in the state of Washington, Melissa and I live up here on Whidbey Island. And so I reached out to Guy McPherson. He immediately connected me with Peter and said, you guys work together and organize a tour. We did that. And working with Guy and Peter, my immediate focus is, how do we cool the planet? How do we stop this exponential planetary overheating, which is going to kill us all if we don't stop it? And immediately hit upon solar radiation management. And so I started pushing that. Guy at first, he didn't seem too convinced, but then he met Dr. Yatow at Harvard, who's developing what I think is probably one of the single best ways to cool the planet through SRM. And we started, the three of us started connecting on that and starting some conversations. But those guys really aren't so much into the conversation, what we're doing here, right? You know how it kind of takes a special personality or a special something to be in the conversation, right? To be this vulnerable, this just in it, right? As opposed to just sitting back and watching 60 Minutes or Fox News or something.
Right. So, Jamin, since we're in that mode and Bob and Noel only have a few minutes, I want to ask if you guys have any thoughts or questions that we could respond to before you have to go, just as part of that compassionate conversation.
Well, I'm so glad to hear about all the environmental things, because Bob and I are part of the Pachamama Alliance, which has we're in 162 countries, and we've talked about in 12 different states, about 24 different Awaken the Dream or Changing the Dream. I'm not sure. The Pachamama Alliance mission is to bring forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just, beneficial human presence on the planet. When we heard that mission statement, we said, where do we sign up? So they also now have expanded that. I just put in the chat. I don't know if you're familiar with Paul Hawkins' Project Drawdown, the 100 researched solutions that would bring down greenhouse gases. And so, it's just kind of nice to feel that we're, birds of a feather, and just learning to get introduced to each other. So, Bob, do you have something you want to add to?
A thought is, one of the thoughts is I'd love there to be more people in this conversation. And what strikes me is that I just know from the people that we met during World Unity Week, and that were room stewards and presenters and everything else, there are many more that need to know about what you guys have framed up so far. And I'm kind of wondering whether there isn't more in the room right now, just because a lot of people are worn out, that we're fully into the week last week in huge ways. And so I look forward to there being a lot more people that can understand how this is both something that you've been working on for a while, and that you've been conceptualizing, and that you've been putting bricks into place and moving around and that sort of thing, and that World Unity Week could be this huge trampoline springboard that says, oh, kaboom, we got all this content and people that are wound up and people that are positive and want to share that and bring others in. And so I'm very excited about the opportunity for that, because they're like the Co-Creators Convergence, having 6 years of monthly things that we've done that aren't being seen by which we would love to be seen by more people and engaged with. All those other organizations and movements that were a part of World Unity Week, all of them have stuff too. And so there's like, wow, framework, now let's drop it into place. And one of the things that we learned a lot from the week was, and just keep saying yes, and realize when you need help, you ask for help. And there wasn't a minute during the week when we asked for help that there wasn't help or double or triple help right there. Mm-hmm. And on how to do things technically, or be supportive, or for us to even, as we were busy and somebody put out a notice and said, we need a room steward for one session. Can anybody help as a co-host? Yeah, we can do that. So I'm very excited about the potential.
I just want to add one other thing. I'm really impressed by all the artists that are here.
Yeah.
Melissa and Sharon and Army and I probably I said your name wrong, Jackie. Barbara Marx Hubbard, in her book Conscious Evolution, she talks about when she first met her husband on the West Bank in Paris, and she went into a restaurant and there wasn't a place to sit, so she sat at this table and shared her wine with this, met this man there, and she asked him, what do you think will change the world or something? And he just said, I'm an artist and we're the ones who see what's going to come. I've completely butchered what she said,
quote, but
it was like the artists are going to bring us. And what is the one thing that with all these defunding of education, they want to get rid of, is arts and music. Mm. And so I honor all the artists who are here. We're all artists in our own different ways. But I'm just really impressed that the high percentage of people who call themselves as number one artists. So thank you.
Yeah, the artists and scientists, we all know what's happening outside of this conversation out there in let's hate each other political land America of saying stop believing science. So there's a segment of our population in this country that are being trained to disbelieve science, even though you could name 15 things that happen in every one of their days that depends on science, but they're being trained to not have that. So this combination is just, and with people of consciousness, is just amazing. We're on our way.
It's our time.
Yeah, it's our time.
Thank you.
Rudolf Steiner, do you know Rudolf Steiner's work? He started the Waldorf education program, anthroposophy.
My son went all the way through high school.
Awesome.
Waldorf.
Wow. My daughter went to Waldorf. My sister's a Waldorf teacher. My mother went to Emerson College. I am steeped in anthroposophy. But anyway, he said in one of his books that he wrote about art and color, he said that art and color are to the soul what food and water are to the physical body. So it really does feed our soul. And I think the interesting thing about artists is that we're not afraid to go into uncharted territories and take disparate things and bring them together and create something new. There's that creative imagination, which is really connected to God or spirit, right? And so we're basically channels for spirit. That's how I see it anyway. And so I totally believe exactly what you're saying, Noel, that artists are going to lead the way. And all artists. And if you look at First Nations peoples, everyone in the village is an artist. They sew baskets, they sew button blankets, even putting up food is an art. They carve. And they're very soulful, spiritual people.
Yeah, and I just want to say before you guys go, I just got a text back from the people who are doing the harmonic convergence, and they said everyone here is psyched for the conversation. We're just too busy right now. We'll be with you soon, right? It's like they're really the first call that I made because the event is happening right now, and I talked to Maya, who was part of our film festival of the World Unity Week, and she's one of the major holders of the harmonic convergence along with a bunch of the folks from World Unity Week. And it's like, well, of course, right? There's no choice but to join. It's like, of course we want our stuff to be seen. Of course we want to connect with other people. Of course, so it's all pointing the same place. So Silas, you say this so well. We're all going, how do you say this? We're all going to the same place. Or what's your line about that?
We're all coming home to who we really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just nowhere else to go, right? Every wave is going to the shore. There's nowhere else to go but to this unification. Yes, Melissa?
There's also this recognition, like Sharon, I know you. Like Noel and Bob, I know you guys. You know, we're just coming home again to each other as a family, you know, and we all have this.
Well, I want to tell you all, I don't know if any of you know Hannah Strong. Hannah Strong and her husband were, you know, leading environmentalists. They were the ones behind the Rio conference in '92. And I live in Crestone, Colorado, so she's the person who gave, if you know about Crestone, the Shambhala of the Rockies. So it's her foundation that gave the land to all these different traditions. Oh, wow. So I was with her today. Wow. Yes, we're very close. And so at some point, I'd love to bring her in, as well as I put up a video that I did for when I was doing the Qigong Global Summit for the Shift Network that I did with my dear friend, John Milton, who has the Way of Nature here. And he actually worked in the Nixon administration as an environmentalist, and he coined the term environmentalism. And wow. He's just extraordinary. So if you get a chance, you might enjoy. I put the link, and then Jackie said, but I made it so you could see it.
Yeah,
I'm going to be with him tomorrow. So these are people that I would love to bring in, as well as, you know, like many of the Qigong and Tai Chi and martial arts masters that I have the privilege of hanging out with and filming over the last 4 years.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, we have to depart, but is there...
I'm glad you got the recording going so we can catch it. We can grab from here.
And when's the next conversation?
Tomorrow from 1 to 5 p.m. Pacific time on the Block Party, which radish.org, it has the link to the Block Party. It's also in the email that you got.
It's in the email. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So that's been an all-day thing for a few years. 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Saturday is the all-day Block Party that has some of the, like Jackie and Shilas are do different blocks. So there's a whole 24 hours that happens every Saturday. But a part of that 24 hours from 1 to 5 tomorrow Pacific time, we're focusing just on this. So people will come and go, or maybe just stay the whole time while we brainstorm and see who we are and reconnect with who we are, with each other, for each other, as each other. And so it's so great to have you guys on, Bob and Noel.
And it's an honor to be here.
I also want to jump in and invite you guys. Jackie and I are running the segment from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. It's the Divine Feminine Principle. We have 3 awesome friends of mine. They're all African-American artists. Malaz is from Sudan, Barry Johnson and Carol Williamson. They're going to be talking about Black Lives Matter. So it'll be a really powerful conversation. Wow. So I hope you guys can join us.
Wow.
Path of the Priestess.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure we get the recording, Peter. And Peter, you are doing you're doing Peter.
Awesome.
Bye. Good night.
Love you guys.
Nice
Thanks so much, Bob and
Noel.
See you later.
Nice to be one with you.
And just to be clear for the recording, so 1 to 5 tomorrow will be focused on the conversation, and then at 6 a.m. Saturday we launch the conversation, all Pacific time.
Right, but you start earlier than that, right? What time do you start tomorrow morning?
No, so tomorrow morning we start the Block Party at 6 a.m. Friday morning, and then I was saying on Saturday morning, 24 hours later at 6 a.m. Pacific time Saturday, we start the conversation, the 24-hour conversation.
Right, that website launches at that time. So Jamin has 36 hours to 35 hours and 56 minutes to have that website ready to go.
It's actually it's actually pretty much live now. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It just has like a link and basic information. So, you know.
Yeah. Awesome.
Your
so
book is fantastic. Is that
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
held up
yeah,
the
yeah. That's Sharon's book.
The Path of the Priestess? Yeah.
Someone stole your name and put it on the bottom of the book.
It's a Path of the Priestess, a guidebook for awakening the divine feminine. I wrote it, it's Inner Traditions. I wrote it in 2003, it was published. I had this great gift of living in India with the queen of North Indian dance, a Bollywood star named Sitara Devi. I was the first American disciple. And so I lived with her, and I was trained in embodying all the myths and stories and deities and all the characters of the Hindu tradition. Plus, since it was North India, it's also the Sufi, the ghazals and the Sufi tradition too. So that was really, and I'm very grateful because I went because of the American government sending me on 2 fellowships. And so that really altered my life. And then I worked for many years in the schools with my Lebanese dance partner, teaching the kids to embody the myths and stories from traditions around the world. And so lately, Peter bringing me into this dance, because I've been very focused in film, but as the COVID hit, I went in and all of a sudden I'm just dancing again, right? And and so it was amazing to be a part of this and to really bring this understanding I do of what it feels like and the beauty of embodying the myths and rhythms and music of cultures throughout the world as a way of, bringing this understanding. Because I saw it through years in New York and New Jersey and Virginia and Connecticut, going into thousands of schools. And I saw tremendous changes and in the kids and, levels of self-respect. And because we were doing stories, now we're in India, so we're going to start with meditation. Right. So I was able to put these things that usually in schools are like, we were able to bring all of these in the context of the story. And so it's been one of the things that's been so beautiful for me about being part of this is that whole part of my life is now, it's all the knowledge I had is, being brought forth. And I'm very grateful to you, Peter.
Well, it takes us all, right? Kathy connected you to me, and Bob and Noel connected through Kathy, and it's all just the big dance, and it's fun to kind of trace back to what set up what to lead to what, and everything had to happen the way that it happened, or it wouldn't have. And that's really the whole story, too, isn't it? I mean, the whole 14 billion years had to unfold like it did, or none of this would have happened. And if the asteroid doesn't hit the Yucatan, none of this happens, right? It's like that's the cosmic miracle that we are. And when we can live from there, when I can live from there, then it's just a joy to be alive and to see. You're such a perfect example, Sharon, of we're going to have some people who come here going, I have no idea what's happening on my planet, help me, right, to come into the conversation. And then we have other people like yourself who say, I've been doing this my whole life, right? You want to learn about international dance, right? Yes, right. And so both sides of the spectrum get this full expression, and it's beautiful.
Well, do you want to feel like what it feels like to dance like you're from West Africa, or you're from India, or you're from the Middle East, or you're a ballet dancer? What does that feel like? I mean, for me, this COVID, it's like I'm allowing all the different traditions that I've been involved in all these many years, to just coalesce into like a really world dance music story. And right. I think that's where we're going.
That's such a powerful part of peace too. And this September peace event that's coming up is going to have a large dance component to it. The folks at Uplift and Unify are producing a project that's going to be very dance for peace focused. And that ties in with the work that we're doing with the World of Dance people as well. As part of the big peace weekend, there will be, that element will be profound again. And so the chance to play and express that international peace through dance, if you will, global peace through dance kind of expression will be, you'll be there, girlfriend.
Can I jump in again? Sharon, I love what you're talking about. And it's funny because my daughter and I are collaborating on a project. We just got a commission today to make a music video. And my daughter lives in Mexico. And I'm just thinking, because of COVID, now with the Zoom, it is enabling us to all connect regardless of borders and to bring all these different cultures together. And the piece is about looking up at the light, you know, and finding peace, you know, and what does that mean? And I think it could be really awesome to bring these music videos and these dance things to the September 19th event, Peter. You know, I think that could be really profound.
Yeah, we'll clearly have a dance room again, plus what Uplift and Unify are up to. We'll be helping to focus that too, and to what degree the blending happens, or to what degree there's 2 or more different tracks for what dance is, right? Because it's really hard to have a war on dance. I guess they tried to do that in the Footloose movie, but Kevin Bacon superhero allowed us to not have that. But yeah, dance will be huge, and there's so many people already that, you know, have lived dance their whole life, and so many different expressions. And yes.
All right, and welcome.
I do want to tell you, Melissa, that I'll put it here. I'm finishing up a CD that I've written mostly for the Divine Feminine, but the last song is called Awaken to the Light. And I'll put a link. It's not done complete, and it goes on forever, but I think that I'd like you to hear it.
Thank you.
So I'll put a Dropbox link in here so you can hear it.
Make sure you put
It's
your
really
email.
based on the mine.
Put emails in the chat box too, so you guys can do that. And then
I'll put my website on too, so you can see.
And then Jamin, do you make habit of copying the Zoom chat to send with the video?
I haven't made that a habit. Would you like me to?
Yeah, at the end when we're done, those 3 little dots in the bottom there?
Yeah.
So
No, the chat saves automatically, but I'll just send it along, and then
right.
And I'll trust you, Peter, to broadcast it out to your list or however.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a new person. We have a new reptile in the zone.
We have Danny, who's been a regular the last few weeks. Welcome, Danny.
Doing? Yeah, happy weekend to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise.
So what's going on tonight?
So we're planning for the launch of something that we're calling The Conversation on Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time, which is right when the block party ends. So we're going to have 2 24-hour events back to back for a total of 48 hours.
And you'll be staying up the whole time, is that right?
No. I take a break in the middle of the night and get a few hours of sleep, and then I'm back at it. And James and Emery are 2 similar diehards. We all, we'll take a few hours break of sleep, and then we'll get back at it. Yeah, it's going to be super cool, especially with the conversation, because we're kicking off a whole new, hub and spoke model where the center of, so the conversation is a network of conversations, the center of which is a hub, which we're simply calling the lounge, right? And we're creating that as the single point of entry where everyone can arrive and learn about the whole network and learn about what conversations they might want to join. And then people can go from the hub to any spoke they want, hang out for as long as they want in whatever conversation they want, jump from conversation to conversation if they're feeling like a Mexican jumping bean, and they can come back to the lounge, the hub, at any time, and in fact are encouraged to do so, because it's the hub where we really kind of share stories, thank you, Sharon, where we share stories about our adventures throughout the far reaches of the network. the network of conversations.
Are you starting this all with the Zoom? Like, are you continuing with Zoom
Yeah,
as forum?
all on Zoom, and
Okay.
so the same, and in fact the same link that's the block party, we're going to use that same exact link for the lounge, the hub of the conversation network.
And then have you done like specific outreach to bring new people into the hub?
We're in the process of doing that now.
Anything I can do to help, let me know.
Definitely, we definitely need help, Danny. In fact, I know you're good at that, especially on the Twitterosphere. So let's you're on the mailing list, so I'll send out a mail tonight, and just feel free to tweet that out. That would be super cool.
All right, sounds great.
Awesome.
No, I was just brainstorming in my own little world here. It's like, well, what's the latest scoop, right? What's the latest? It's almost like we need a new word for the word news. And what just hit me was that Zoom spelled backward is moose.
Moose.
Which, and so it's the latest moose, which is the latest Zoom news is now the moose. And yeah, hashtag that and get the copyright going on that, J-Man. It's the moose. Get the latest moose now at the 11 o'clock moose, because news, if I understand correctly, came about because the letters in the word are north, east, west, and south, and that's how the word news was created in one folktale I heard anyway. And so now, since the directions aren't quite as important in that sense, that now the Zoomosphere is where we all are. So get the latest moves. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Random ponderings of a humanoid daring to experience unification.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, see, part of this is in the framing, because we're calling it the conversation, which implies that it's singular, like there's only one. Well, what conversation is that? It's the conversation of how do we save, heal, and transform life on Earth holistically, all aspects of life on Earth, right? And well, why is that singular? And it's not that it's a single conversation, but it's a single network with a single hub, a single center. And the fact that it's single is associated with the fact that we need to bring all of humanity together. So the mission of the conversation as a network of conversations is to go out throughout the world and assimilate, connect with, first have relationships with, and ultimately, if possible, assimilate other networks, but not in a way that destroys their identity or their history or their culture or their whatever, but basically just says, hey, can we create a sort of a universal connector so that different networks with different histories, perhaps even different peoples, right, with different needs, different challenges, different interests, different stories. Thank you, Sharon. Right. So that these different networks, how do we create this universal connector? And this, how do we find the C3PO who can translate between different networks, right? And,
Nice.
of course, there's verbal translation, but how do you translate a story? How do you translate a perspective? How do you translate, a culture?
Right, the whole culture. And so, Jamin, I'm thinking that we wrap this up in the next 12 minutes here to the bottom of the hour. And so maybe I'll take a pass at how I see this going, and you chime in a little bit, and we'll
Sure.
do this. So kind of the way that it's envisioned right now is that through whatever means someone gets introduced to the website, the conversation.cc, they go there. When they land, they have an option to pick the live Zoom operator, right? Or they can go directly to any of these other rooms, if you will, that could lead them to these different aspects of being alive. Different programs that have existed, different categories of interest, and that takes them into their own self journey, their own individual journey down that rabbit hole, if you will. But if they're wanting to connect with someone, then they click on the lounge, And here comes a lounge, right? And the lounge will allow to self-populate by people who want to be lounge operators, if you will, who are just willing to sit at the lobby bar of the hotel in case somebody shows up late and says, I'm late, what room am I supposed to be in? Right? And so that person is there, and it could just be one person, or you may find that it's like this and there's 9 people just hanging out talking, because that's what we want to do, is hang out in the lobby bar with the people who were just at this conference. And the conference is humanity evolving, right? The conference is the magic that we're all feeling of this moment. And while there's this incredible asterisk that says everything's falling apart, there's also this incredible exclamation mark that says, yes, and I'm here, and this is the 100th monkey, and this is the butterfly busting out of the chrysalis, and this is that moment that so many of us have known was happening, but we're just couldn't quite. It needed all the parts that are now here in order for it to be real. And this is it birthing itself in this form, and it's birthing in lots of other forms through many different people. And we're not claiming to be the one in any way, but daring to be a one, as one, humanity. And so here comes Jackie into the room, and she says, hi. And I'm like, I'm the operator. And I said, hello, how's it going? I'm feeling really sad today. Oh yeah, what's going on? Well, it looks like my uncle's really sick, and I just, oh, it's really weird here where I am. Oh, where are you? Right, I'm in Idaho. Okay, how can we help you? I don't know, do you have anything about grief? Is there anything you guys have about grief that might help me understand why my uncle's dying? Right, or whatever it is. And we said, yes, absolutely. Here, I'll share my screen and I'll take you to World Unity Week, where there was a whole room that was about grief and joy. And let's go see what they had there, right? And maybe something will resonate there. Or, you know, I also know this group that does this. So here, I'll put in the chat box. Be sure to look up this one, goodgriefnetwork.com, because they do 10-step programs for people who are moving into the grief thing. But in the meanwhile, copy and paste that. But here we go. We'll go into my screen share, and here we go to World Unity Week, and here's the room. Here's a whole room. They worked for a whole week, just last week. It's brand new stuff, right? From some of the great thinkers and feelers of our time. So does that help? Right? And yeah, thank you. Is there anything else that you're passionate about? Well, yeah, I love coral reefs. I hear they're dying. Oh my God, okay, let's go to the coral reef and find you what next step you might find yourself in a rabbit hole to go into some other level of interest. And then you're off on your path, and you come back to the lounge if and when you want to, but you've been assisted by this collective intelligence to go on your journey. And I think it's just going to be a precious and glorious role to play, to be an operator and to guide people, because so many of us, we want to help folks. I mean, that's who we are. We're teachers, we're guides, we're wisdom holders, we're all this, just wanting to be able to express ourselves. And here's the chance to do that, and to help one-on-one with somebody who's in need and coming to the room. And it just feels amazing.
Totally. And if I can just riff off, since I think that was your that, you know, and hey, by the way, there's a meeting happening right now about coral reefs in the network, because as the network of networks grows, right, then there's going to be thousands of conversations happening in parallel at any given moment, en route to tens of thousands happening at any given moment. And, you know, that's where we're going to have powerful search engines and,
right, we become a new kind of portal. We become the transformation portal internet, or the WUW instead of www, right? The world unifying web, right? And there we are. And thanks for mentioning that, because I think that is another just amazing part of this, is that we also have this list of current Zoom calls. We become the TV guide for Zoom calls. And it's broken down into every category. And so you show up here we are at 6:20 on a Thursday night. What's happening? It's who's got a show at 6:30 on Thursday night. And you could see it by time, and you could see it by category. And you're like, oh my God, there is a talk about coral reef starting in 30 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go get a bite, and I'm gonna sit down and meet these people. right? And before you know it, you're in a Zoom call with some coral reef expert just 30 minutes after you just dared to go to this crazy conversation hub. And now you're infused. You're not, people aren't alone wondering, I wonder how I could ever get connected. Is there a group near me or something? Maybe, but then on Tuesday night, I have to drive 20 miles and it's raining. And so I don't really want to go. And now all those excuses are gone, and you're in a Zoom call like this with someone who's an expert on coral reefs.
Yeah, this is so reminding me of a house, and I studied architecture in London, and it's called the Architectural Association. It was in an old Georgian house, and the hub of the house was the bar, and that's where we would all lounge lizard. We'd hang out in the bar, and then all the different activities happened in different rooms of the house. So there was a lecture hall, there was, you'd go and hear crits, or you'd go have a tutorial or whatever. You go see an exhibition. So that's the image that's coming to me when I'm listening to you guys talk, Peter. It's like, I just see this house with the lounge, which is like the bar, which is the hub. And then you go off to the different rooms for the different conversations, or to get a tutorial, or, whatever.
Right. I just put in the chat. Yeah. That instead of being a lounge lizard, now you're a lounge wizard.
Yeah.
Right.
Wizards.
Lounge wizard.
Lounge wizards.
Yeah,
that's good. Good one.
So that's what we're up to, and that's what you're up to as someone who dared to be on this call. And I love the innovation that happens in any different way, and to see who shows up in that early phase, who felt it from what different angle, and how it resonates with people. And of course, tomorrow there'll be more different people that feel it from all their different ways, from 1 to 5 Pacific, when we really sink into what can this look like. And well, we already know what it looks like. This is it already. This is it. It's just a Zoom room, real casual. Raise your hand, put yourself on mute, come and go as you like, ask questions. Somebody says, oh, I know a lot about dance. Here's my link to my dance movie. Oh, cool. I know someone who did a dance movie now, right? Oh, do you know this guy? I do know that guy. Could you connect me to him? Right? And away we go.
And then imagine a new kind of social network emerging out of this, not from 10,000 friends, 99.9% of whom you've never met and really don't have a feel for, to a social network of actual conversations. SNAC, snack, and that out of which we derive Snack Bar as one of the brands that we're developing, or it's under development or whatever. But I like the conversation better. It's cleaner. It just gets right to the point. It's the conversation.
It's human, right? The text world is, when you're writing something, you miss only 90% of what's going on, probably 95. And so with the conversation, you have it. What's the acronym again for SNAC? Social
Network of Actual Conversations. Oh my goodness, look at Kamaya. Wow.
Uh-oh, she got to wash her hair.
Beautiful. All righty.
Hello, Kamaya. You're muted. We're about to end the call. Would you like to sing us out with one of your songs, with your song again? For those of you who weren't here, she sang us in this.
Why not? I just took a shower, so I'm really refreshed.
That a girl. We just had an hour and a half phone call, so we're really refreshed.
But you didn't splash your face or anything, so.
I don't think so. I didn't spill any of my drink. It all made it into my mouth. That's the advantage of a straw.
Yeah, but if you throw it away, then it'll hurt.
Okay.
You won't throw it away.
All right. So, Jamin, do you have anything else to wrap up this session?
For the magical song.
I'm just so grateful for you and for every single person here. Love you all. So excited. Join us tomorrow on the block party, starting at 6 a.m. Pacific time, going for a full 24 hours. And then at 6 a.m. Saturday morning, we start the conversation centered around the lounge. And for more information on that, go to theconversation.cc and go to radish.org for the block party and other goodness.
Yay.
All right. Any other last comments from anyone?
All right. Kamaya, would you like to see? Oh,
Oh, and
It's a
bring your
pleasure to be
friends. I
with
want to say
you.
bring people and go ahead. Mhm.
No, 21 tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right. See
All right,
you at
everyone.
1.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, blessings all. Nice
Great
to be in this
see
with you.
all.
Work.
Kamaya, sing to us before we end the
Okay.
recording.
You can always beat the challenge whenever life gets hard. You can always beat the challenge. The challenge. Whenever it gets too big, you can always beat the challenge. Yeah. But all you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is believe. Drop the mic.
Awesome.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
See you later.
Great to see you all. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and participating. And we look forward to seeing you in less than 12 hours.
Yay. All right.
right.
Thank you all. Here we go.
All right.
Here we grow.
See you soon.
All you have to do is believe.
All you have to do is believe. We'll get someone to put some music to that for you. All right. End recording, Jamin. We're
got it.
out.